life practice community.
When I record, it will just be me on the recording. So start this practice by just kind of tuning into your breath. So you can close the eyes or settle the gaze. Something really interesting I find about breathing is that as young kids, we're not really taught how to do it ever. But a lot of us tend to naturally breathe sometimes up in our chests, which can kind of be a bit of an anxiety trigger. So I'm going to invite you to try to direct your breath inside your heart space. So just kind of a bit lower down the chest, and see if you can breathe into your chest and your heart and your belly. And then we'll just practice a really, really simple mantra. So when you inhale, you're going to say here. Exhale now. Inhale here. Exhale now. And so our goal or our intention is to be here now throughout this practice. But you have a brain, and the brain is designed to think. So if it starts thinking, don't fight yourself on that. Just when you notice your mind wandering away, see if you can just bring it back here now, simply. Here and now. And if you have an intention for your practice today, to stretch or to strengthen or to have some time for yourself, just kind of establish that now. And then we're going to warm up our spine in the 7 ways that the spine moves. It's called Spinal 7. So on the first inhale, we can just open our eyes and reach our arms up towards the sky. Nice. This is spine movement number 1, which is just lengthened. And then we're going to side bend. So you can land your right palm and reach your left arm towards the side. And if you're going the wrong way, it doesn't really matter. Good. Nice. And then come all the way back through center, and then we'll stretch the other way. And let's do that one more time on each. So landing your right palm and lifting your left arm across. Nice. And then coming all the way over and landing your left palm and reaching your right arm across. Nice. And then come all the way up with arms lifted and lengthened on an inhalation. And on an exhale, just rotate and land your left palm on the right knee and have the right hand behind you. Yeah, you got it. Perfect. Yeah. Good. And then come all the way back up through center, and we'll rotate the other way. I am notorious for being bad at rights and lefts. I literally only learned them when I became a yoga teacher. Let's do it one more on each side. Inhale, coming up, and then rotating around. So if you move the wrong way, know that you are not alone. I also mix up my rights with the lefts. And then we'll just do one more. Take a breath in, come all the way up. And then rotate around, twisting through the spine. Nice. And now let's come over onto the hands and knees. So come back through center and then plant through your palms and come onto the knees. So this is called tabletop pose. Good. And you're going to spread through your palms and spread through the fingers. And then on the inhale, you're going to tilt at the pelvis and lift your chin. So this is called cow pose. It's cow pose, I think, because it's like imagining the udders of the cow. And then when you exhale, you're going to curl your spine up and tuck your chin. This is called cat. Okay, so it's spinal extension, which is the back bend, which is cow. So inhaling, coming into that cow. Good. Nice, you got it. And then exhaling, curling up the spine and tucking the chin. You're doing your cat pose. And can we do one more of each? Nice. And then come all the way back through the center and just sit your hips back on your heels for a moment. We're going to rotate our palms around, just warming up the wrists. One of the most common injuries I see in yoga is a wrist injury, and that's people who are dumping too much weight on their wrists and not warming up the wrists and, you know, not spreading the palms and spreading through the fingers enough. So we'll take time to just kind of warm up our wrists a little bit before we bear some weight on them. So come forward back with the hands now, and then spread through the palms. Nice. And then we're going to tuck the toes and lift up and back. This is the first down dog. So you're making a V shape with the body. The hips are lifting up and the head is dropping. Nice, you got it. And there is this tendency for us to place too much weight on our hands and our shoulders. I want you to see if you can lift your hips upright and really shift weight onto the heels and the legs. So maybe you can even bend one knee and then bend the next. Practicing pressing through the heels. Nice, good. And your heels definitely do not need to press or touch the ground here, so don't worry about that. And then take an inhalation and you're going to come all the way forward into a plank pose. Good, yeah. So you're pressing through the palms. Nice. Yeah, good. And there's one long line from the crown of the head all the way through the heels. Yeah, you got it. And now let's just land the knees onto the mat. And we're going to practice doing what's called a chaturanga, but modified with the knees down. So in the chaturanga, your elbows are going to come all the way back and your navel is going to go onto the earth. Good. Yeah, nice. Good. So you're all the way onto your navel. Yeah. And then take an inhale, lift your heart up and just be light through the palms here. Nice. So you're coming into a bit of a back bend. Good. Good. And then lowering down, pressing through a tabletop and coming all the way up and back to a down dog. So we're going to do that flow one more time. Okay. Inhale, come all the way forward into a plank. Nice. And then take your knees onto the mat. Slowly lower, elbows drawing back. So it's a tricep push-up here. You're building strength in the triceps. And then take an inhale, lift your heart up. Nice, good. And then exhale back down. Shift up through that table and then to a down dog. And then from your down dog, we are going to bend both knees and just see if you can walk your feet up to meet your hands. So you find yourself in a forward fold. Good. So oftentimes when we're in a forward fold, people feel like they need to touch the ground. You definitely don't need to touch the ground and you don't need to have straight legs. It's actually more beneficial from the back if you bend the knees a lot rather than try and like really fight and pull into the pose. Just kind of let gravity do the work and you can rock your head no, and then give it a little wiggle yes. And then slowly roll all the way up to stand and your head is going to come up last. Nice. Okay. All right, so we're going to do 3 half sun salutations. So sun salutations are like the warm up in yoga, but we're just going to do the half start to begin. Okay, so when you inhale, your arms are going to reach up towards the sky. And then when you exhale, you're going to forward fold, hinging, bending the knees. Good. Taking an inhale, lifting halfway and let your fingertips brush your shins. Good. And then exhale back down. And then inhale, lift your arms all the way up. And then take your palms to heart center. Good. Let's do 2 more. Breath in, arms lift up. Breath out, forward fold. Breath in, halfway lift. Breath out, fold. Breath in, lift your arms all the way up. And then breath out, hands at heart center. And then just one more round. Simply inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms lower. Breathe in, halfway lift. Nice. Exhale your way back down. And then inhale, sweep your arms all the way up. And then exhale your palms at heart center. All right, take your hands onto your hips. I'm gonna move through some standing poses. So we're gonna start with our right foot exactly where it is. Step your left foot back. And this is called a warrior one pose. So your hands are on your hips because I want you to feel where your hips are in space. You want your hips squaring towards the front of the mat. And then you're pressing through the outer edge of the left foot and you're bending through the right knee. Good. Have like a length and a lift through the spine and then lift your arms up. This is called Virabhadrasana 1. This is warrior one pose. And I teach this, I used to go to this family's house to teach family yoga before COVID happened. They had an 8-year-old kid and 8-year-old boy. And whenever I would teach, I would say, okay, this is warrior pose. He would go, ah. So feel free to channel that inner warrior. No one is watching you. You're on mute. If you want to make warrior noises, go ahead. And from warrior one, we're just going to sequence into a balancing pose. Okay, so the one closed hip pose is called warrior 3. And you're going to transfer weight onto your right foot. So you can have your hands on your hips as well. And then just shift weight onto your right foot and see how it would feel to lift your left leg up behind you. And if you are feeling wobbly, feel free to have hands on the wall or on a piece of furniture or anything really. Nice. So your body is almost making an uppercase T and you have a real like extension from the crown of the head to the heel. And I say this all the time, perhaps overkill, that if you fall, you're still a good person. I think sometimes when we fall, our egos get bruised. Like I used to think when I did yoga that everyone was watching me and if I fell, they were judging me. But really, if we want to fly at all in life, we have to fall along the way. Nice. Let's just take one more breath in this standing pose. Good. And then tilt all the way up to stand. And we're going to take one more standing pose on the right foot. So your right foot is going to stay where it is. Your left foot is going to, left knee is going to bend, left toes are on the mat, and then open your leg towards the side. And you can just have your foot here. This is option 1. Could be on the shin, or it could lift all the way up on the thigh. The one rule I want you to try to follow is not have your foot pressing into your knee, because the knee is just not meant to go that way. So have the foot above or below the knee. Perfect. Yeah, good. Nice. And then you can choose your arm variation. So your hands can be at heart center, or they can be open or lifting up. And again, when I teach kids yoga, this is when I pretend to blow over the trees and be the wind, because this is called tree pose. It's Vrikshasana. Key principles in balancing poses, you want to really press through the big toe of the standing foot and also have one focal point. It's called a drishti point. So looking at like a notch in the wood or, you know, like the door handle, like anything that's just going to center your gaze and help you from falling. And then we'll just take one more breath. And then place the left foot down and place both palms at heart center and just feel the clarity and contrast. The clarity and contrast from being on one foot to on 2 feet. How is the ground holding you here and supporting you, stabilizing you? Leave our left foot where it is. We're going to do the exact same 3 poses on the opposite side. So you're going to leave your left foot where it is. You're going to have your hands on your hips and step your right foot back. Bending through the left knee. Use the hands on the hips to just feel that your hips are both kind of pointing towards the front of the mat or the room. It's like headlights on a car. And if you can't turn your hips to the front of the room, then just widen your stance. Yeah, you got it. Perfect. And then you're pressing down through that heel and you're lifting the arms up. So I teach a style of yoga where one posture flows into the next. It's called vinyasa yoga. And so we'll do many poses in a sequence. Matt comes to my class often where we'll do like 15 poses, or 15 is an exaggeration, maybe 10 on one side and then switch to the other. So this is kind of like a little preview of that. So we're just doing 3 in a row. So it's not like wildly overwhelming. And then we'll do 3 different poses on the other side. So from the warrior 1, again, we're going to trust weight on the left foot and then launch into that balancing pose. So you can have your hands on your hips or your hands at heart center, and then just toe tip the right foot over and lengthen up. And if you need to hold on to anything around, feel free. Nice. Yoga props are like blocks and straps and cushions. Sometimes they have this reputation. People are like, props are for beginners. Like holding onto a wall is for beginners. But in reality, props are our friends. And we use them at like any level of yoga. So don't be ashamed or embarrassed at any point to hold onto the wall or a chair beside you. It's like different supports that will help you. Nice. Just stay for another breath. Good. And then come all the way up. And once again, we're going to land the left foot, come onto your right toes, land the right foot on either the inside of the right ankle or the shin, or maybe onto the thigh. And then you can choose what to do with your arms. Hands can be together, hands can be at heart center. There are like a million variations of different ways to do poses. When I first started yoga, I was like really caught up in the right and the wrong way. And I've since learned that there's really no such thing as the right or the wrong way. There's just different ways. Find the way that works for you. Take one more breath. And then we're going to plant the right foot down. And then in between flows, we're going to do one more half sun salutation. So take a breath in, arms reach up towards the sky. And then on an exhale, just forward fold. Nice. Taking an inhale, half lift. Take an exhale, fold. And then just take an inhale, lift your arms up. And then take your palms into heart center. Nice. Okay, so that was a closed hip series, and now we're going to do an open hip series. So we're going to leave our right foot where it is and step the left foot all the way back. And this time you're going to come into a warrior 2. So the difference between these 2 sets of postures is in the first set, we had our hips squared towards the front. And this time we have our hips squared towards the side. Good. Now there is this often tendency with that front knee for it to curl inwards. I don't know if you can see I have 2 cameras. I have one from my computer, but the knee has this tendency to curve inwards, and you want to align it so that it's stacking straight up as best you can on top of the knee, on top of the ankle, so that you're not causing any injury. And then you also don't want the knee to be sliding too far forward. Perfect. And now we're just going to lengthen through the right leg. Reach forward with the right arm. Good. And then clock the right arm alongside the right leg and lift the left arm up. Perfect. This is called triangle. Teaching yoga on Zoom is so amazing because it's so cool that you can reach so many people, but sometimes it has these technical difficulties which require me to practice my patience, practice being calm. And so from triangle, I'm going to invite you to try one more balancing pose. Okay, if you want to stay here, stay. If you want to try this balancing pose, it's called half moon or Ardha Chandrasana. So you're going to shift weight onto your right foot and right fingertips and see how it would feel to lift your left leg up. And I often find that having my hand on something like a block or something underneath me can sometimes help with the balance. And I used to teach private yoga to this older man, and he found it really helpful to have his body against the wall for this one. So you could also always do that. Nice. And then just stay for one more breath. Nice. Good. And then come all the way up to stand. And we'll move into the flow on the opposite side. So your left foot is going to stay where it is. And then the right foot is going to step all the way back. And again, find that alignment of the left knee stacking above the left ankle. And then the arms are just extending. And try to have a softness through your shoulders. There's this tendency for us to come in and kind of have our shoulders hunched up near the ears. See if you can let that go at all. And then invite in some movement with the breath. On the inhale, reach your left arm up. And then just exhale your left elbow down and your right fingertips reach overhead. Good. And then keep moving with your breath. Nice. And then just do one more. Good. And then we're going to come all the way back up again. Lengthen through the left leg, shorten the stance, reach your left arm forward, and then take your left arm alongside your left calf and reach your right arm up. Good. Yeah, you got it. Nice. And then either stay like this, or if you feel like trying to balance, you might shift your weight onto your left foot and left fingertips and reach your right arm up. Nice. Yeah, you got it. Good. Taking another breath. And then just come up to stand, landing the right foot. And then we're going to go back to that balancing pose that we did a few minutes earlier, the tree pose. So land your left foot, have your right foot on the inside of the leg, either on the shin or the calf, or maybe up on the thigh again. Hands at heart center. Just kind of coming into the familiarity of this shape after we've done a lot of new poses. This one we've done before. Take one more breath. And then land your right foot. And then we'll switch it up. So right foot will stay where it is. Left foot will land either on the inside of the calf or the shin, or maybe on the thigh. And then hands can come at heart center. Letting go of movement, receiving a bit of stillness. Letting go of effort, receiving ease. Letting the body find the middle, and as the body finds the middle, the mind finds the moment. And then we'll just land the left foot back down. Nice. One more half Surya Namaskar or half sun salutation. So inhale, arms up. And then exhale, forward fold. Good. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Take an exhale, fold. And then inhale, sweep your arms all the way back up. Take your palms into your heart center. Good. Let's take a breath in. Arms reach up towards the sky. Let's exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then we'll do one more down dog. So plant through the palms, step your feet back, lift your hips up, stretch through the spine. Take a few breaths, knowing that you're not going to be here forever. I know down dog is quite challenging at the beginning, even though some yoga teachers say it's a rest pose. It's definitely not a rest pose. And then just land the knees onto the mat. Good, and we're gonna swing the knees around, step the feet forward. Just have your strap, that thing that we got at the beginning, have it nearby. We're not gonna use it right now, but we'll use it after. So you're going to land your feet on the mat, and I want you to reach your hands alongside and see that you can almost feel your heels. That's the distance you want the heels at, so they're underneath the knees. And then you're going to press through the heels and press through the palms and lift your hips up. So this is called Setu Bandhasana. This is bridge pose, and this is a back bend. And in our everyday lives, we spend a lot of time hunched over our phones and hunched over our computers. So this is like a counter to all of that. And you can either stay with your hands here. If your shoulders are tight, don't worry about this next thing. But if you want to try, we're just going to roll the shoulder blades under and bring your palms underneath and see if you can interlace the palms, pinky side down. And it might not be quite accessible for your shoulders today, and that's okay too. So we'll stay lifting here for just 3 and 2. And then on 1, slowly lower, releasing the grip, landing the hips. Unroll the shoulders. Leave your left foot where it is. You're going to take your right leg up and you're going to cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh. And then push your right palm into your right thigh. So this is a variation of a reclined pigeon pose. It's a hip opening stretch. And I know that for men in particular, the hips can often be quite tight. If you're a runner or you're someone who is active, it might be particularly the case. So feel free to stay here. And if you feel like you can stretch a little deeper, you might lift your left foot off and interlace the palms on the back of the left thigh or the left shin. So this is called thread the needle. So your right hand is going to go through the space between the legs, and then the left arm comes around. And then you just interlace the palms. So our emotions are kind of really connected to our physical body. And sometimes when we're in these poses, like stress and things can come up, memories. And if that's the case, know that that is kind of part of riding the wave of yoga. And especially when we're not drinking alcohol, we're not numbing out our feelings as much. And so they might feel even more powerful. And that's okay. Take a few more breaths. And then release your left foot. Release your right foot. And then we're going to go the opposite way. So we're going to cross the left thigh on top of the right thigh. Flex the left toes, so you're pulling them back. Push your left palm into your left thigh and either stay or lift off, interlacing the palms on the thigh or the shin. And if the stretch is uncomfortable, Just remind yourself that we're not going to be in this pose forever, although it might feel like it. We're not going to be living through this pandemic forever, although it might feel like it. So, what tools can you use to stay in this moment calmly, and how can you activate the parasympathetic nervous system? And maybe you just return to that mantra, inhaling here and then exhaling now. Inhaling here, exhaling now. Release the grip that you have. Land your feet. Grab hold of that strap or whatever you brought with you, and you're just gonna have your left knee bent and your left foot on the mat, and then that strap hooked around your foot. Nice. And then the right leg is up towards the sky. And if you can, you might extend your other leg along the earth, but that is quite a deep stretch. And so you might also be okay with your knee being bent. And I used to teach this yoga class right before the pandemic, where this guy would always show up and he would be like, ugh, like I feel like he was trying to like rip his hamstring. Be easy on it. Just relax. Try to have your shoulders soft, back of your head soft. And know that none of this is going to happen overnight, right? You're not going to all of a sudden be able to do the splits after one yoga class. It takes a lot of time. I've been practicing for 10 years, and I often say to my yoga students, like, I was the least flexible girl in my gym class. Like literally, we did a test of who could touch their toes, and we measured using this like box, and I had the least flexibility of everyone. And so it's pretty funny that I've then gone on to have a profession in yoga. So it definitely took me time, and just have patience around the whole practice. Because if we let our ego kind of get a hold of it, that's where injuries might come from. Can you take one more breath in this hamstring stretch? And then we'll switch up the other way. So land your right foot and lift your left leg up. And notice how different one side feels to the rest, or to the, not the rest, the other. You only have two sides. So notice maybe this one side is tighter than the other. And that's just interesting to notice. Nice. Take another breath. And then we're going to release the strap and just take the knees into the chest. Open your arms onto the earth so that they're in these cactus arms. And then you're going to drop both knees over to the right and gaze over the left. And maybe you land the right palm. Just going to check and see how we're doing for time. Oh my God, it's already almost 7:30. Normally I give like a 10-minute shavasana. So we'll just be short. We're going to open up the right arm and then twist all the way through center. Drop your knees in the opposite direction. Gaze over the right shoulder. Nice. And then come all the way back with your knees into the chest, giving your body a little bit of a hug. And then slowly extend one leg and then the next, taking a really short shavasana. So your whole body is heavy. Your heels are dropping out, your toes are dropping out. Your hands can be either on the earth beside you or on your belly. Back of your head is resting. And normally I am obsessively punctual. I always end on the hour, but I appear to have gone a minute or two over time. If you have to slip out, feel free. If you can stay for a minute longer. I promise I won't keep you in this pose forever. I just want you to have an opportunity to kind of let the practice sink in and notice what, if anything, has shifted within you over the course of this hour. And just rest in stillness, knowing that I will bring you back in a moment or two when the time is up. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly. Blackbird fly. Into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Just give your fingers and your toes a little wake up wiggle. Run a nice sweet stretch through your body, fingers all the way through toes. Nice. You can slowly start to make your way up to join me in seated, and no rush at all. And then just place the palms at the heart center. Having a bit of ease through the shoulders and a softness through the eyes, maybe closing them if that's comfortable. And we seal our practice off with an intention. And it's that our practice not only benefits us as individuals, but that it benefits everyone in our lives around us. So maybe because we've taken time for ourselves, we can move through the world with a bit more patience, maybe get less annoyed in traffic jams, or less irritated when people annoy us, and that just has a ripple effect through our lives. May all beings be happy and healthy and free, and may the thoughts and actions of each of our lives contribute towards this. So I like to finish off with an Om sound. And if you want to join, we're going to inhale and exhale and inhale through to make the Om, but you definitely don't have to if it feels too woo woo. So if you want to join, we're going to inhale, inhale to make an Om. So a big breath in and then a big breath out. And then a big breath in. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it too. The light in me, it sees and it honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you guys for joining.